Hey, what's going on everyone? My name's Jake Rotel, and I'm using this channel to create videos about my health, wellness, and fitness journeys in life. I find all these topics very important for life, and I am constantly looking for ways to improve my own. A health and wellness change that I've been implementing into my life is eliminating caffeine from my everyday diet. On the wellness side, caffeine can have a lot of different symptoms, including anxiety, which for me was constantly hitting me every single day. And I hadn't really no idea that it was really affecting me so much until I really stopped using it and noticed a big change. But before that, a little background on my use of caffeine. I first started using caffeine about 2 years ago when I started working out. Before that, I had never really used it. I used pre-workout and it would fluctuate my use, but at one point I was taking up to about 800 milligrams of caffeine in a day. Not having ever been very experienced with using caffeine, I really didn't see any problems with it, but eventually I did come across some new information that allowed me to realize that what I was doing was extremely unhealthy and actually very unsafe for my heart. From that point, I reduced my consumption from 800 to 400 and slowly went down to 200, and then eventually, as recently, about 100. My switch from about 200 to 100 milligrams came when I finally realized that maybe pre-workout had a lot of other things in it that weren't exactly safe. I've seen a lot of articles and a lot of lawsuits on certain pre-workouts that weren't exactly attractive anymore. So I decided maybe I don't need the entire pre-workout anymore to get myself to work out and to get myself going throughout the day. Maybe just coffee works as well. But after about 2 to 3 weeks of only drinking coffee, I had realized that my levels of anxiety were still there. Not to mention also the crash at the end of the day, which would leave me groggy and just overall exhausted and not wanting to continue through the day, especially when I had more things going on. I'd have to keep drinking more and more if I wanted to keep up my level of energy. So finally, I decided to just stop drinking caffeine altogether, and instead, I picked up a new morning routine that I had seen many ads for on Instagram and other social media platforms for a while. This was the product called MUDWATER, right here actually. Oh, right here, and on here it has all the ingredients, which I'll talk about here in a second. So the big thing about MUDWATER and why it's so healthy is basically all these ingredients are natural ingredients that are coming from the ground. Basically, kind of explains why it's called MUDWATER. Most of these big ingredients that are really making a big impact, that's making it so popular, they're all coming from different mushrooms. So they're just extracting basically the good qualities out of these mushrooms and bringing them down to a powder form so you can mix it with your water. The first big ingredient on here is going to be lion's mane. Now, lion's mane is supposed to basically help with focus, and then we have cordyceps next. Cordyceps is the biggest one on here. It's kind of what they're known for. It's the one that's giving you the most energy, and that is kind of replacing that caffeine instead. Then we have chaga on here, and that's gonna help you boost your immune system, which is nice. And then next is reishi. Got reishi on here. Reishi is gonna help with less fatigue overall, which is pretty convenient to add on to that cordyceps energy and the lion's mane focus. And then the last big one on here is going to be this turmeric. Turmeric's going to help with basically lowering your inflammation. So I'm going to talk about my experience with using it and the transition from caffeine to MUDWATER. Basically, the first 2 days were not easy, obviously. I mean, you go from drinking caffeine all the time to not. And slight headaches. For me, they weren't too bad. They did come and go, but they were quite mild, so they were easily ignorable, but they were still kind of annoying, and they were there. But immediately after those first 2 days, I experienced a dramatic difference in my sleep. I was waking up feeling amazing every single day after those first 2 days. This was something that I hadn't really expected, so I kind of looked into it, and I guess caffeine really does affect your sleep overall. One of the big things about sleep that I think was kind of obvious that I expected is is that it is much easier now to fall asleep. Obviously, you don't have that caffeine keeping you awake, but that sleep that you're getting throughout the night, that I'm getting throughout the night, is a much higher quality sleep, which is a big difference in your day to day, because now you don't really need that caffeine so much because you're getting really high quality sleep, which is allowing you to have more energy. And then after that, of another like 2 to 3 days of getting really good sleep, I started noticing myself have much more energy throughout the day. I wasn't crashing later on, which was really convenient because sometimes I'll have work at like 4 o'clock until like 10 or 11 p.m. and I need to be able to keep going. So having to not have that crash and not have to drink more caffeine, like I'm able to keep going, and I feel much more natural and much more high quality energy. So it's been about 3 to 4 weeks now since I've last had caffeine, and I have noticed obviously a dramatic difference. The biggest being the lack of anxiety. My day to day is so much more natural and enjoyable. I think a big thing for me was that I thought a lot of the anxiety I had while I was drinking caffeine was actually coming from myself and not necessarily the caffeine. I thought I was having problems with anxiety, but really it was just my body responding to this drug. So overall, I would highly suggest this for everyone, and especially if you have a lot of anxiety, this could be a big reason why, and you may not even know it. My quality of life has dramatically changed, and I'm enjoying life so much more. I feel so much more positive, so much more optimistic as well, and it's just encouraging me to do more and not feel set back by the anxiety that it's been giving me. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and looking forward to making more videos like this. Thank you.